Welcome back. So you've been sitting with your teaching journey. How does that feel? A little vulnerable, maybe? Good. That means you're getting somewhere real. Today, we're talking about finding your teaching message, and I want to start with something that might surprise you. The best yoga teachers aren't the ones who know the most Sanskrit or can do the fanciest poses. The best yoga teachers are the ones who can clearly communicate what yoga has taught them about life. Because here's the thing, your students aren't just learning poses from you. They're learning how to handle challenge, how to breathe through difficulty, how to be present with what is. Whether you realize it or not, every time you teach, you're sharing your philosophy about how to live. The lessons yoga has taught you are the very ones you will be teaching your students. Not it helps to flex your raised leg foot in half moon pose, although that's useful too, but the big stuff. You're capable of more than you think. Stillness can dissolve tension you didn't even know you were holding. Or sometimes the best thing you can do is nothing at all. But here's what I want to add to that. Your teaching message needs to connect to your audience. In the Define Yourself as a Teacher section of the workbook, there's this beautiful exercise about finding your audience. And this isn't just nice to know information, it's essential for developing your message. Let me give you an example. Say your audience is long-haul truckers. They spend hours sitting with their arms reaching forward, left arm on the windowsill, right hand on the wheel. They develop imbalances, tightness in the front body, weakness in the back. Your message for them isn't going to be about finding inner peace through meditation, though that might come later. Your message is going to be about how small movements can create big relief, how paying attention to your body can prevent pain, how 5 minutes of yoga can help you feel human again after hours on the road. Same principles of yoga, completely different message based on who you're serving. Now you might be thinking, but Sage, I'm probably not going to be teaching truckers. Fair enough. But you are going to be teaching someone specific. Maybe it's people who sit at desks all day. Their needs aren't that different from truckers, honestly. Maybe it's new moms who feel disconnected from their bodies. Maybe it's retirees who want to stay active and independent as they age. The more specific you can get about who you're serving, the clearer your message will become. In the workbook, there's a prompt that asks, what is a problem this audience has? And then I ask you to drill down. Where does this audience exist? What activities do they do? What patterns do they develop in mind and body? This isn't just an intellectual exercise. This is how you figure out what to teach and how to teach it. Let me tell you about a student I had years ago. I'll call her Rachel. She was a middle school teacher, and she came to yoga completely burned out. She tried other forms of exercise, but she needed something that would help her nervous system and not just her muscles. As Rachel developed as a teacher, she realized her message was about using yoga to recover from giving all day long. Her classes became known for helping other caregivers, teachers, and nurses and parents find practices that restored their energy instead of depleting it. That message came directly from understanding her audience, people like her who spent their days taking care of others and needed tools to take care of themselves. So how do you find your teaching message? Start with the exercises in the workbook. First, get clear on your audience. Then ask yourself, what problem do they have that yoga can solve? Not just physical problems either, mental, emotional, spiritual problems too. Then, and this is where it gets personal, what has yoga taught you about dealing with similar problems? That's where your message lives. In the workbook, there's a prompt asking you to write about your 3 or 4 biggest takeaways from yoga. Not the technical stuff, the life stuff. What has yoga taught you about courage or patience or letting go or staying present? Take some time with this. It's okay if they sound a little cheesy at first. Mine sure did. When I first started teaching, I was all about finding balance, which is about as yoga cliche as you can get. Now it's true, but it's also really broad. Then as I kept teaching and got clearer about my audience, I realized my message was more specific. It's about finding the right amount of effort for this moment, not too much, not too little. Once you've written those big lessons, here's where the magic happens. Can you distill each one down to a short phrase? Something like breathe through the hard parts, or start where you are, or trust the process. These become your teaching mantras, the things you find yourself saying again and again in class because they're so core to how you understand yoga. Here's something practical that might help you. Once you have your core messages, try this formula. I help specific type of people achieve specific result without specific obstacle. For example, I help busy parents find calm without needing an hour to spare. Or I help athletes build flexibility without losing strength. This isn't just marketing speak, it's clarity about who you serve and how you serve them. And when you're clear about that, teaching gets so much easier because you know what to focus on. Your message doesn't have to be revolutionary. It doesn't have to be something no one has ever said before. It just has to be true for you and useful for your students. Some of you might be thinking, but what if I'm not wise enough yet? What if I don't have deep insights to share? Listen, I've been teaching for over 20 years and I am still learning. Wisdom isn't about having all the answers. It's about being honest about the questions you are exploring. Your students don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be real. They need you to share what yoga is teaching you right now in your actual life with your actual challenges. So go back to those sections in your workbook. Get specific about your audience. Get personal about your message. And remember, these will evolve as you evolve. The version you come up with today is just the starting point. In our next lesson, we're going to talk about something that might make you a little uncomfortable. Questioning the rules you have been taught and internalized about yoga. But it's one of the most important things you can do as a developing teacher. Until we meet in that lesson, sit with your message. Practice saying it out loud. And start noticing how it wants to show up, both in your teaching and in your life.